math, English, history, science, educate.
Welcome to Different is Normal. I'm Suzanne Barnett, your host, and tonight I am so pleased to introduce you to two very talented, handsome men. They are teachers at Stanbridge Academy. Mark Kelley. I am so happy you're here.
Thank you.
And Aaron Clark.
Carter.
Carter.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's the first time I have ever mispronounced a name of my life.
No problem.
Okay, so you two are teachers, and from Ted Milkey, who's the producer of this show, he raves about both of you, and he said, Suzanne, I can't wait for you to interview Mark Kelley and Aaron
Carter.
Carter.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with you,
Yes,
Mark. How long have you been a teacher?
sometimes I answer that too long, but to be honest with you, it's been 11 years now. After 3 weeks, I didn't think I was going to make it the fourth, but it's been 11 years.
And why do you like working with these children that are maybe just a little bit different, but they're normal?
Yeah, great way to start. That's a great question. I grew up with a learning disability myself. I stuttered, and well, I still stutter today as we speak. I've become a lot better at it. I'm on TV right now, so that's a big step for me. But as a child, it was always in the back of my head that someday I might want to get out there and kind of work with other kids that might have some kind of learning difference like the one that I suffered. Maybe I could give some experience and some advice back to them. And I did it for 3 weeks. I didn't know if I could make it to 3 weeks, but God, there's probably not another job I'd rather have on the planet right now.
Why? Why do you like it so much?
Well, it's you know what it is? I used to be in the sales world, and we know what it's like to sell a widget, don't we? You wake up
Yeah.
Monday, you go to work until Friday, and then Saturday morning, you're already thinking about Monday morning. Well, working at Stanbridge and working with kids, man, there is no weekend. There's no weekday. It all blends together. You know, Saturday, you almost can't wait to go back to work, and that's a true statement.
Really?
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yes.
After all those years.
After all those years, I've got 11 in. I'm probably going to do 15 to 20 more, I think.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank
My
you. Thank you.
goodness. Okay, Aaron Carter.
Yep, good.
How about that?
Yeah.
Tell us about your career and why you are at Stanbridge.
Sure. So I haven't been there as long. I've been there 3 years full-time, but I started out as a substitute teacher, and I was doing that for a few years. And I got to know the classes, the teachers, the kids, and I took the full-time job once I got into it, just because it's like Mark was saying, it's just so fun and interesting place that you.
Well, what makes it so interesting for you, Aaron?
It's just you go into work each day. It's like well, it's not really work. It's you're showing up and you're involved and you're doing things, and they give you flexibility to kind of teach the way you want to teach, and the kids seem to respond to it, and they're great kids, and they like to learn, and so I like to teach them and have them have fun with it and be into it. So as a teacher, that's all you can ask for.
What are your favorite subjects to teach? I know the answer, but wait till you hear. Wait till the audience hears this.
I've taught them all. I've subbed Mark's class. I've done other history, other English, other classes. But I like language, and so I teach Spanish there now full time. So
can I join a class? I'd love to know Spanish.
Anytime.
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 Yeah.
And so, Mark.
Yes.
You're the head basketball coach.
I am, and this kind of sounds so grand the way you introduced that, and I appreciate that. This is the second year that we've had a basketball team at Stanbridge. In fact, if I go back a little bit, we've had no organized sports in the 30 years that we've been in school. And Craig Brewer, a good friend of mine and teacher who left the school last year, he had been a coach in New York City for about 20 years, and he came in with lots of experience. And he did this program the way it's supposed to be done. It gave me all the tools to carry it on. And Craig moved on. And so this was the second year of the basketball team. And when I say we had no other team that's ever played, I would say half the kids on the team have never played an organized sport. Yes. And it's come to full fruition. We've got uniforms. We played 6 or 7 different schools this year. In real gyms. We don't have a gym, we have to rent one. And to see the kids' faces when they've succeeded for the first time is amazing. And then to see their parents in the audience, right? Their kids never played on a team sport before, and to see the parents see the success that the kids had, man, I think that was kind of the thing that's made my last 2 years and kind of inspired me to kind of take it to another level. So, yeah, the basketball program's been great.
Well, it's so fun to interview people like you. I have interviewed many teachers from Stanbridge, and they have this, you know, a joie de vivre and this enthusiasm, because the kids are different, but the kids probably are even smarter. I mean, they must be more difficult to teach.
You know, you say the kids have all the kids give us the energy that we have.
Really?
These are different kids. I don't know about Aaron. I know he worked a little bit in the public system. I substitute as a permanent substitute at the junior high level with what they call normally adjusted kids. They're great, but they're not these kids. There's something about these kind of kids that, I don't know, make me tick and make the rest of the faculty tick. So that's been amazing to work with.
Well, that's what I've noticed, you know, over the last couple of years, that I think Ted Milkey, who's also he's a student at Stanbridge Academy.
And a basketball player.
And a basketball player.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, I thought he'd be a football player.
Well, we haven't.
He's a big
not
guy.
yet.
Yeah.
We don't have that yet.
We haven't started that program yet. Yeah.
Now, in your basketball, do you have a girls' team and a boys' team?
We don't. Again, we need to start small because it is what it is. It's hard to find other schools like ours. We have 100 kids, K through 12, and so we have to go find schools that are like ours, and there's not a lot of them out there. So we're starting with basketball and floor hockey, and as you mentioned, football. Who knows? Maybe 2020.
Oh, it would be
see.
that long away?
I think so. Football's a big deal, but yeah, no, the two sports have been great.
Yeah, yeah. So, Aaron, what is it like to teach the kids that are different, another language, your Spanish?
Yeah, that's interesting because a lot of these kids have language processing difficulties, and so on paper it doesn't seem sort of feasible and it raises all these difficulties, but I go slow and I use repetition every day, and I just kind of see where they are with the lesson, and I try to adapt to what they're into and what they have reality with.
But that must, excuse me, go on.
Yeah, just as opposed as just getting flashcards and these kind of things, I try to get into their heads a little bit, and.
Well, you know, the thing that occurs to me is that the fact that sometimes a person, say, who's shy, and they become an actor. You know, they start in the plays, and they blossom because they're playing somebody else.
Right.
And I would think that maybe other language would also put them in a different place, and then to accomplish it.
That's true. Yeah, different perspective.
I think language is very difficult, personally.
And Aaron, I'll speak from, I guess, your department. One of the other areas that we started about 5 years ago is American Sign Language. So a lot of these kids that at our school with learning differences that normally don't maybe like to speak the part of a foreign language, well, there's an option for them. And a lot of them, Aaron, if I'm not mistaken, have just excelled at this American Sign Language to the point where the teachers are like, these are some of the best students we've ever taught.
That's true, yeah.
And so you call them, you know, kids with learning differences, but they're excelling in this area of ASL, which is American Sign Language.
I see. And not only that, but all of us. Some are left brain, some are right brain,
Yeah,
so forth.
and so
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there must be so much satisfaction. Could you tell a couple of stories? You know, maybe some dramatic stories?
Oh boy. It's like rolling a lottery. You know, the lottery balls. You just have to pick one.
Yeah,
out.
the
No.
bingo ball.
You know, there's a student at our school who I used to teach, and I teach physical education now, 8th grade through 12th, and I had him through 6th grade all the way through high school. Well, he's my assistant now.
No way.
He's my assistant now, and he has grown to the point where if we had a model case that we could put in a package and give to parents who might want to come to our school, this would be the kid. And we have an experiential program at our school, so we go out into the wilderness. And let's just say, can I mention his name? No, you want me to?
No, of course.
Ben Grigsby.
Okay.
Great kid. I love him with all. I mean, he's my assistant, right? I've worked with this kid since the 6th grade, and he's been a teacher now for 4 years. So that's a lot of years. We're in Ashland. We're in Ashland, Oregon. And he got so bad on this trip that his parents had to fly up and take him home. And to see him come and make the full turn, I mean, he's an adult now, you know? And there's a kid that I kept saying to myself, no, not going to make it. Not going to make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Erin didn't know him back then. So, I don't know, that's a story that I first think
That's
of when
a
I...
wonderful story. That's
Yep.
a wonderful story. How about you, Aaron?
I don't have anything in particular. I don't have any story in particular, but like you were saying earlier, the kids that are sort of nonverbal and find verbal communication difficult, I'm beginning to speak with these kids more in Spanish than in English, which is so. That's kind of alarming because it should be in English, but it doesn't matter because once they step into my class, I prefer Spanish or with whatever we're learning for them to use.
Yeah.
So, a lot of these kids are just making progress that are kind of beating all the odds as far as processing and language and communication. And so I go with that. As soon as I see that, I just go with that. And
how do you go with that?
just keep speaking with them and bringing them up. And once they're comfortable with me in the class, no limit.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
when I
tell
walk
some more
around-
stories. Okay.
No, when I walk
okay.
around campus, and the language thing is fairly new at our school. It's probably 5 years-ish. The parents were looking for more electives, and so obviously language comes to mind. And he's right. Some of these kids that I didn't think, I don't know, had the capability or maybe would struggle with a language. We're out on the basketball court at practice, and they're speaking Spanish to them. I had a little in college, but sometimes I don't know what they're saying.
And
so.
they're counting, stretching, and they're counting up to 20 in Spanish, and it's like, okay, you guys are getting it. So
Yeah, so it's rolling over.
And I think it's like with acting, when you learn your lines, or
Yep.
anything, a
Yep.
sport,
Yeah.
it's repetition.
You know
Yeah.
what? Repetition. That is one of the things that I think separates our school from the public system, is that the way that we kind of repeat things, we don't only do it through talking, but we do it visually, we do it through acting, we have a little bit more leeway to play. And that's what these kids are looking for. These kids who have ADHD issues, they can't sit still in a chair. So if you get up and talk and lecture, they're done.
Yeah.
10 minutes in, they're done.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit more leeway and freedom to kind of make it fun and make it a game, role play.
But the thing is that you have to be so creative. And how do you keep that going?
That's the fun part. That's
the fun part?
That's the fun part, because then that gives you now have the permit to make it fun.
Think outside of the box
You got
a little bit.
Yeah, so
maybe the test scores aren't as important as they might be in a public system, where if you're trying to evaluate these kids that are different is normal, right? It's not about test scores in many cases. We just had a senior test 2250 on the SATs. That's at our school. We have that Stanbridge student. But 80%, I would say about 80% of them aren't testers. They need to kind of show you their intelligences in different ways. And I think sometimes the public school doesn't always allow them to do that, and Stanbridge maybe gives them that opportunity. Yeah.
But aren't you all lucky to be teachers and the kids with teachers like you? Every person that I have interviewed, you know, every teacher from Stanbridge, they're like you guys. They're just, you know, full of the old Ned and this enthusiasm.
You can say it's not a job. I mean, you know, it's. I don't like telling my friends that my job isn't a job, because they're probably like, well, I don't. He's lying. No, it's not a job. We don't look at it as a job. We often, here's what happens. We'll be out hanging out on the golf course up at Squaw Valley skiing. We can't stop talking about the kids, and it's just like the fun things. It's the nuances. It's the little progressions that they made. It's kind of a 24-hour thing. So, I don't know. That's really not a job to me. It's kind of a way of life. That's how I look at it.
May I ask each of you a personal question?
sure.
One.
You can on that trashy show on Bravo, they have that program called "It Happens," and you can take the fifth. Each person gets through. I want an answer. So I forgot what I was going to ask you. It was such. I know. If you get married or not, how many children do you want? Or maybe you don't want any. No, don't look at
I'll
him.
go first.
Go ahead, Aaron. He's younger and he's still single. So
I'm not against children. I don't have a number for you, but when the time comes, and I'm not there yet, but I'm looking at a dog. You know,
baby step.
Right.
one step at a time.
Right.
Yep.
And then the next step is 2 dogs.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
Yeah, I'm not for bringing children in the world anymore.
Yeah.
I'm so worried about it. And how about you, Mark?
Aaron's about 15 years younger than me, and that was my answer when I was his age. I'm not sure it's changed.
Really?
No, I'm still single, and I love kids, and someday I'd love to have at least one. You asked how many, right? I think 3 is a great number, but I better get moving, I think, if we're going to go for 3. But the good thing is that we still work at a school where it's all grades. We work with high school. I work with 8th grade through 12, and he works with 8th grade through 12. And we've still got the little guys. So we get the little guys on campus, and it's so fun to interact with them too.
Oh yeah, I think that excuse me, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but I think it would be much easier to act with the little ones than those teens.
Half the time? Good question.
Yeah.
Yes. You know what?
Well, not yeah.
They're all special, and they all kind of do their own thing, and it's really fun to let them express themselves the way they are. And I think our school allows them to do that. But yeah.
The teachers in junior high and elementary, they do a great job of sort of working with them, and so by the time they get to high school, I feel pretty fortunate to have them. And
yeah, I agree. I mean,
they do a lot of work.
We have the best teachers on the planet, I think.
I
And
agree.
that's
Every teacher I just told you that I've interviewed is just so passionate. I've also interviewed some public high school teachers, and they certainly do not have the gusto
Well,
by
thank you.
you.
Appreciate that. I hope-
It's pitiful, really, that all
Yeah.
these kids cannot go to your school, a private school. It really is today.
I think there's a little bit of freedom. You know, we're governed by WASC.
What is that?
WASC is let's see if I get this right, the Western Association of Schools. It's
Okay.
an acronym
Yeah.
that governs kind of schools in our space that
I
aren't
see.
public, that aren't charter, that are somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So we are regulated, and we teach to California standards,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, and that's become almost a theme within the past 5 years. But we get the freedom. We get the freedom because we don't have to always worry about the numbers and the test scores and you know, all of that. And our kids can still go to the 4-year colleges, and so for me, there's no other place. I don't knock public school, but kind of this is my niche, and I know Aaron and I have talked about that.
Yeah. Well, you've heard of the Waldorf School.
Yeah, a little bit. I've heard of the name.
Well, it's not really offbeat, and it's a whole different thing. I have to get into that. But the kids, if they get sick, they pretend they're not, so they can go to school.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I bet your kids are like that too. Are they? You
Yeah,
better say
yeah,
it.
I'd say so.
we have attendance awards at the end of the year, and we
Yeah.
do a lot of plaques and trophies to recognize the students and their accomplishments. And I think the attendance award is the award that we hand out the most of. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad
It
thing.
is. Well, yeah. I mean, but
Yeah.
the fact that you're keeping those kids interested and stimulated.
Yeah.
Because isn't what our world about is education?
When
it comes to it, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why we're doing it,
really,
right?
yeah.
You know, let me mention, if I can, it's a little off topic, but a lot of times the kids come to our school and it's kind of a last resort. They haven't had success at the public level and even maybe at the charter level and at another level, and they come to Stanbridge. And one of the things I love about Stanbridge is seeing them kind of blossom. When they come in, they're shy and you know they're reserved, and I'd say 80% of the kids within a month, 2, 3 months, you start to see it get more comfortable for them, and their parents their parents will talk to us and say, we've never seen this from our kid. And it doesn't take 3 years at Stanbridge. Sometimes it takes 3 months, and that's kind of a special thing.
You know, if I was a young parent and I was watching this show, I'd call Stanbridge in a minute. You know,
We have an email. Can we?
Yeah, do you? Oh, well, it's up to to your friend
Yeah,
Ted Milkey.
Ted, yeah.
So tell us more about the school.
The one thing that hits me is the experiential program that we offer, and we take our kids on trips throughout the year. Usually 3 trips, a beginning of the year trip for high school, and they go for a week with their classmates before they even sit in the academic environment.
Yep.
The first week of school, Yosemite,
Oregon. I took the kids up to Oregon Shakespeare Festival. We did that
River rafting.
2 years.
No kidding.
So that's how
Yeah.
we started. And for new kids, boy, when they come back from that trip, it's like, I'm ready to go to school. So
Honestly?
and then we do 2 other trips throughout the year. So the experiential program is a big part of our school.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great thing for kids to get outside.
Oh, that must be.
Experience.
Lots of team building and things that go on the trips that you can't sort of duplicate at the school.
Yeah.
Like give an example.
Well, in Oregon, we rent Southern Oregon University's dorm, so we stay on campus, and we use their cafeteria and their facilities, and so they're getting interactions with college students.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then going to the plays, taking public transportation down, learning the times and getting to the place and walking around the town is, it's a lot of exposure that you're not going to get in the classroom. So,
And that's a certain age group that we take to the Shakespeare Festival. We also do trips, like I said, to Yosemite, where it's 5 days of backpacking. and it's challenging, and kids want to go home. They want to call mom, but I would say 100% of them make it through, and the experience at the end is unbelievable. And so,
But you have to kind of nursemaid them. I mean, if they're really...
the middle stuff is big. We're talking about the beginning and the end. Yeah.
But tell about the middle.
Oh boy, I don't know. Can we do that on the air?
Sure, of course.
Remember my friend Ben, who you know, it's a struggle. I mean, we're camping in Yosemite, and they've got to cook, they've got to set their tent up, they've got to persevere through, you know, a 2-3 mile hike each day, and these are some kids who, you know, have played a lot of video games in the past. You know, this is brand new.
And text, you let them text.
Yeah. So we turn the I can'ts into, you know, let's take one more step.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the goal.
I
and then
see.
it comes to fruition at the end, right? So.
I want to ask you, just because you guys you're saints. You guys are. No, but to meet people like you, and how fortunate for those kids, and obviously you're getting a lot out of it. But now I'm going to ask you, I'm going to start with you, Aaron.
Sure.
What is your favorite thing to do right now? Ooh. Besides being on this fantastic show.
Yeah, this is pretty nice. I got my motorbike. I like going out riding, going out to the coast a lot, or seeing movies. I like good movies. I do a lot of gardening.
And you're building your own house.
Yeah, and I'm doing.
See, you're so modest. Okay, we don't have very much time. Mark,
okay.
What is your favorite thing to do?
Unfortunately, golf.
Why unfortunately?
There's some bad days on the golf course.
Yeah.
Nah, there's good days too. One of the great things about our school is we hang out together as a staff, and there's about 6 of us who play golf together. And I quit for 15 years and started playing 3 years ago with this group of guys, and now I'm addicted once again. So golf is way up there on my list. What else? I like to swim, maybe 3 days a week. I think that's real good for the mind and the body and all that good stuff. But I'm an avid sports fan. All of the New England teams are my favorite. I guess the San Francisco Niners and the Giants have grown on me.
And the Warriors, because you guys are...
I'm also a Warriors
Hello, fan. Right?
So just, you know, when you're not at work,
Yeah.
just kind of... But when we're not at work, we're still talking about the kids. We can't let go of it. It's not even...
We're not at work right now, and
We're still talking about it.
It's
but
Friday
now
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you all have been such very, very interesting guests.
Oh, thank you.
And I wish you the best, and keep loving what you're doing.
Yeah,
okay?
thank you. Thanks for having us.
So
All
much.
right.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And I want to thank our crew, and of course, Ted Milkey, who is a student at Stanbridge Academy.
right.
He puts this show on. And he has a wonderful crew, some new people, I'm sure, that are doing beautifully. And it's very difficult, I know, and I appreciate it, and I thank you. And I thank our audience for watching, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Math, English, history, science, educate. Because once you learn, you will get free. Mathematics, let's start from mathematics. 2 plus 2 equals 4. 3 plus 3 equals 6. 4 plus 4 equals 8. Because math is beautiful. Learn your numbers. Because once you learn your numbers, you will learn from each other. You will learn from your mother. Math